Hey guys, it's MMA Vulture coming at you live with this week's best MMA bets for UFC Noche, O Malley Vs Dvalishvili. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this card. So, I am very, very excited for this card, and one thing I am excited for is my lock of the night, which is Diego Lopes. He is sitting right around a negative 180. I think that he is a great all-around fighter. He has great boxing. He has great grappling. And something I do want to note that a lot of people are saying is that Ortega has the better grappling, which in my opinion, I actually think that Diego Lopes is going to show that he has up to par jiu-jitsu as well as up to par grappling. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at Lopez's grappling and jiu-jitsu. He has slick takedowns. He does have knockout power. And all around, I think Diego Lopes is just a better fighter than Ortega. Not only that, he also has a significant reach and height advantage over Ortega, which is something to note. So I'm very confident with going with Lopes. I do think he gets the better of Ortega, and I do see that fight going to decision. I think Lopes is it's gonna be a hard 3-round fight, and I think Lopes is gonna end up beating Ortega. Moving right along, we have my most confident picks of the night. And my most confident picks of the night are, we have Rojas Jr. by submission. I do think that he has a significant advantage when it comes to the grappling department against Quay Lang. I do see Rojas starting early, attacking early, taking Quay Lang down to the floor right away, and just ultimately taking advantage of the fact that he has a huge grappling advantage. And I see him getting it done by submission, early first round, late first round. I just don't see it getting out of the first round, honestly. And another confident pick that I have, moving right along to, is the Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes to go over. Like I said previously, I do see this bout going to decision. I think it's going to be a back and forth battle for the 3 rounds. I think Diego Lopes is going to get the better of Ortega, like I said. I think it's going to be them trading shots, them grappling on the ground, and overall, I think that it's going to go over the 2.5 rounds, and it's going to go to decision. I'm very confident in that happening. If you want to go ahead and do the over 2.5, it's sitting right around negative 125. Doesn't look bad. Great value in that. I'm honestly excited for that fight. Moving right along, another confident pick I have is O Malley. He's sitting right around a negative 130 in terms of money line, and I see him beating Merab. He's a great counter puncher. His footwork is phenomenal, putting him in positions to catch you off guard and hit you with shots that you may not be expecting. And I see that happening to Merab. I see him being aggressive, trying to push the pace, and ultimately getting caught by O Malley, which is one of the greatest counter punchers. He has phenomenal counter punching abilities, so that is something to note and something I do see happening in that fight. Moving right along, we also have Valentina Shevchenko, which a lot of people are going to say that's a little risky, and I get that, but I think it's a confident pick here. I think she gets the better of Alexa Grasso. I think in both of their fights she looked better. She looked better in the grappling department. She looked better in the striking department. I will say Alexa Grasso does have the power in terms of punching, but Valentina looked great in both of them. She had the obvious grappling advantage. Alexa Grasso did look good in terms of scrambling and trying to get up against Shevchenko, but I think Shevchenko ultimately looked better in both of their bouts against each other. I think Valentina is going to take her down to the ground, hold her there. There's going to be a couple feet exchanges. I ultimately think that Valentina Shevchenko is going to get the better of Alexa Grasso and ultimately win via decision is my call for this bout. I really do think Valentina Shevchenko is going to beat Alexa Grasso. I think she has all the abilities to beat her. I think she's a better grappler, like I said previously. She is a more selective shot taker. She likes to select her punches more than Alexa Grasso. And I just think that she's going to beat Alexa Grasso. And that's it for my confident picks here. I do think that there are some other props that I do want to mention, some Degen props that I want to mention that you might want to look for. And we're going to go ahead and start with Joshua Van in this bout. Some Degen picks, I think, are Van. I do think that he is live to win via decision. That is something I do want to mention. I do think that him versus Charez does go the whole time length. I think it goes to decision. I think that Van is a great fighter. I think he's a little bit more of maybe a point fighter. He does have some heavy hands, but I think this ultimately goes to decision, and I think Charez has decent chin, so that is something to note. Another thing that I do want to note that I am high on for this Degen prop is Manuel Torres by decision, via submission. I do see Torres having the grappling advantage. I think that Torres has slick grappling, great takedowns, great takedown defense. So we're going to see that in action against Bahamundes. So I'm excited for that. And it's sitting right around a plus 500. So that is something to keep in mind and also look at in this fight. Another prop I do want to bring up to you is Diego Lopes. I know I have been saying that this is going to go to decision, but don't forget that Lopes does have knockout power, and Ortega does tend to get caught on the feet a lot, as we saw in plenty of his fights against Max, against Yahir. I mean, he was getting tagged up a lot on the feet. And Lopes by knockout is sitting right around plus 300, so that is something to keep in the back of your head to know. He could end it early. I ultimately don't think that's going to happen, but just keep in mind that Lopes does have powerful hands, and he is a great fighter. Now, we're going to go ahead and move along to some parlays in this bout, and some parlays I do want to mention. We're going to go ahead and start with the safer side of the parlays. Then we're going to go, as we go, they're going to increasingly get more aggressive, savage. If you want to use them, you can. So with the first parlay, I have Zellhuber moneyline and Van moneyline, and that's going to give you a plus 104. I do see that happening. I think Zellhuber is going to keep Esteban on the outside. He's going to basically point fight him. I think he has the longer reach, if I'm not mistaken. He has the better boxing, a stiff and quick jab. I think he maintains distance really well. I think he's going to keep Rivovics on the outside. And ultimately, I see Zellhuber winning, as well as Van. I think Van is an all-around better fighter than Charez. I think he's going to end up beating Charez via decision, so that is another one. Going right along, we have another parlay, Rojas by submission. I do see that happening, as well as Lopez over 1.5 rounds. That's sitting right at plus 126. Rojas sub and Lopez over 1.5 rounds. I do see that happening. I think that's a very safe bet. I see Rojas submitting Quay Lang. I think Lopez and Brian Ortega goes to decision. We also have Rojas by submission again, and Zellhuber money line at plus 130. Again, these are all the safer sides. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too out of the range. So we're gonna move right along. We also have Van money line and O'Malley money line. That's sitting at plus 151, a little bit better odds than previously at plus 130. I do see Van again beating Chavez, and same with O'Malley. Now we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit spicier ones. So Shevchenko money line and Lopez over 1.5 is sitting right around 205 plus 205. And I do see that happening. I think Shevchenko is going to be Alexa Grasso. I see the Lopez going over, like I said previously. Moving right along, we're going to have a plus 300. Rojas by sub, Lopez money line, and O'Malley money line, sitting at right around plus 340. And I see all those happening. I do think it's a little bit on the unsafer side, seeing as it is a 3-pick parlay, but I do think that it does have a good chance of happening. I do believe in that happening. Now moving along to some a little bit farther shots taken right here for the parlays. Sitting right around a plus 600 is Torres money line, O'Malley money line, Lopez over 1.5, and Shevchenko fight to go the distance is sitting right around a plus 623. Now this parlay is only for the degens out there, the degens that think that they can get it. I do see this parlay hitting. I'm very excited to see this card and where it goes. Another degen parlay that I'm going to leave you off with, a very high one, it's in the plus 1,000, is Torres by sub. I do see that happening. I think he has a obvious grappling advantage against Bahamondes, and then O'Malley to knock out Merab is sitting right around a plus 1250. I think that is an insane odds. I do really actually see that happening, and I'm excited to see if that does happen. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.